Hello everyone, welcome back to RaceRoom, and I've only gone and put it on pole position. It's very rare I get to line up on a grid and have a clear view of turn 1, but that's exactly what I'm going to get today at Hockenheim in this NSU TTS rookie race. 208.8 is what's taken us to the front of the grid. We're the only driver to qualify in the 208s, and we're 2/10 clear of the second place man, Lars Hermann, who will line up alongside me on the front row of the grid. But this is going to be a learning curve for me. I've never raced this car before. It's a new series for the channel, but we've got to be aiming high based on our qualifying performance. We've got to go for the win here. 15 minutes around Hockenheim is just about to get underway. And oh my god, I said this was a new car for me, but clearly I should have practiced starts. That was an absolutely disastrous getaway. We're going to lose the lead before we even reach T1 here. Giannis Papavensis has snuck through, and also Lars Hermann. So we've dropped from first to third. The yellow flags are out. I saw somebody tumbling in the rearview mirror. We'll go back and check out a replay of that in a minute. But for now, we're down to third place and we're under attack from Honda Camino. He's on the outside, but he brakes way later than I do, and he's still able to make the apex, cutting back in front of us, closing the door to take third position. So an absolutely horrific start for us there. We've slipped from first to fourth. And I made a complete mess of it when those lights went green. I think it would have been quicker if I'd gone out and pushed it. But what's done is done. We can't be stressing about that now. We've got a race to concentrate on, and we're actually getting a little bit of a tow from Camino here, so we can pull to the inside. We may have the run on him on the approach to the hairpin. We're actually 3 wide, so I'm going to back out of this one. I don't fancy running into this hairpin 3 wide on lap 1. It looks like Camino may have run it in a little bit hot, though. He's out wide on exit. Has he got the power to get back on the track? Yes, he has. He's still a car length in front of us. So we haven't got the momentum to challenge. We're going to have to tuck back in behind Camino here. The last thing I want to do is lose my composure at this early stage and be lured into making a reckless move. So we're going to play it safe. We get a bit of a nudge from the car behind. Thankfully that hasn't affected us. We've been able to get through this section okay. But in my previous race at Zandvoort in the BMW M235i Cup, I said how difficult it was to overtake in those lower powered cars, and I think it's going to be exactly the same here at Hockenheim. There definitely seems to be some extra speed up for grabs down that long back straight, the parabolica on the approach to the hairpin, so that could be the prime overtaking spot. Other than that, we might be having to rely on a mistake, and we almost get one there as Camino tries to tuck it up the inside of Lars Hermann. There was certainly some contact there, and now Camino's out on the grass. That's going to cost him some speed, and it gives us the chance to dive up the inside into the penultimate turn, but we might run a bit wide on exit. Have we left the door open on the inside for Camino to hit back? Yes, we have. He managed to squeeze himself up the inside there. There was a little bit of contact. We swapped a bit of paint, but ultimately we've slipped back to 4th position, so we're going to end lap 1 in 4th. Papavensis is the leader, Lars Hermann in 2nd, Camino 3rd. We're in 4th, but Camino's out really wide at T1. That's surely going to earn him a slowdown penalty. He's gained a good few tenths there, and he might be easing off the gas already, because it looks like we're going to get a prime opportunity to sneak up the inside, and we're going to take that 3rd position back. Well, I can hardly bear to watch a replay of the start. Just look how sluggish we are as the lights go green. Not only does Lars Hermann alongside me get a better run, but the 2 cars on the 2nd row are also able to get past us. However, cast your eye to the 513. That's Jose Chavez. He was the driver who ended up tumbling out at T1. At the time, I assumed he must have clipped that sausage curb on the inside, but it doesn't look like he did. I think it was contact from one of the cars behind that tipped him over. On board with Chavez. Yeah, he misses the sausage curb, and he gets some contact from behind, which is what sends him over a spectacular way to exit at turn 1 for Chavez. And then it very nearly kicked off again in the stadium section at the end of the lap. This is Camino making a move up the inside of Hermann. There's a little bit of contact. It pushes Hermann wide, but then Camino's going to clip the grass right there. That costs him some speed, and that allows us to pounce. We make a move up the inside into the penultimate turn. At that point, we've got 3rd sewn up, but we just run it in a bit wide, and Camino, by virtue of that later corner entry, manages to find a tighter line through the final turn. That allows him to dive up the inside and take 3rd position back, but at the end of the following straight, he has to lift off the gas early. He's serving a slowdown penalty here, possibly for running wide at T1, but it may also have been for going over the grass in the stadium section. Well, I don't think we're going to get any peace whatsoever from Camino behind. He's certainly got the run on us here down the Parabolica. We said earlier in the race that this was the prime overtaking spot. It certainly looks like Camino has picked up some extra speed here. He's going to move to the inside. Now, I'm not going to defend this. Instead, I'm going to try a later entry, hopefully switch back and tuck it up the inside if Camino runs it in too hot again. Oh, but he hasn't. He's made the apex. He's closed the door off. So Camino back up to third place. We have got a slightly better run out of the hairpin, though. We're going to be able to pull alongside Camino here, but we're on the outside. If we're brave, we can make it too wide through here, and we might have the inside line into Mercedes. This would give us a chance to get the position back. But we've got to get it spot on. We don't get it spot on. We lock up the brakes and there's contact with Camino. We've pushed him off the track there, so we've got no choice but to let him rejoin in front. I messed up my braking into that corner and that was my bad. I forced him wide, so we're going to have to tuck back in behind and remain in fourth. So here's a replay of Camino's pass on me to take that third position, as clean as you like up the inside into the hairpin. A textbook Hockenheim pass. However, my attempt to regain that third spot was anything but textbook. I thought I had the inside line, but I just ran it in too hot, locked up the brakes a bit and forced Camino wide. Camino running it in a little bit hot into that left-hander. I wish I'd been just a couple of tenths closer. I could have probably capitalised on that. As it is, we're still in fourth position, but now we can apply a bit more pressure onto the rear of Camino's car. If we can just tuck in right behind him, we should get a tow down this start-finish straight. I don't fancy a dive up the inside into T1, so I think we'll hold off from doing that. But if we can get a further tow on the next straight, there may be an opportunity at turn 2. Remember as well that Camino made a right mess of T1 on the last lap. He ran it out really wide. He's not going to do that this time though, so there's no mistake to capitalise on here. And if anything, he was a little bit quicker through T1 than I was. He's gained a tenth or two there, so that means we're not close enough to try and size up a move into this right-hander. Instead, we're going to have to get as close as we can and maybe get a tow on the approach to the hairpin. I'm not even sure we're close enough for that, to be honest. Well, I'm starting to feel us picking up a bit of extra speed. Have we got enough straight road left to get this job done? We're going to move out to the inside. I never feel truly comfortable taking the hairpin at this angle, but we've committed to it now. We're going to have to be really sharp on the brakes and hopefully not drift into... Oh, we do though. There's more contact. And for the second time in 2 laps, we've given Camino 4 incident points. He is going to be cursing us. Yeah, looking at the replay, I think I was just a bit too cautious on the brakes. Right there, we backed off a bit too early. Camino goes for the apex and we've got nowhere to go. We have to run into him. We're approaching the halfway point of the race now, and after that contact in the hairpin, we've lost a bit of ground on these two in front. However, Camino has caught up with Lars Hermann in second place. He's actually having a look up the inside through the final turn, so these two battling is going to give us an opportunity to close that gap back and join in the fight. And I thought for a moment that Camino was sizing up a move up the inside into T1. He's thought better of it and he clips the sausage curb. He was lucky that didn't send him into a barrel roll, but he's committed now. He's going to pull alongside Hermann and he's going to have the inside line into turn 2. This is surely going to be second position for Camino. Or is it? Look at Hermann. He is not going to give up this place easily. They're side by side through turn 2. They're still side by side through turn 3. Hermann is holding on for all it's worth. Meanwhile, we've picked up a purple first sector and we're closing in on the pair of them rapidly. We're carrying lots of extra speed and a gap is opening up in the middle. It's almost like they're daring me to occupy the space and take it 3 wide into the hairpin. Well, if I've got the pace, I'm up for it. Let's give it a try. Can we challenge these two? Don't think we're quite close enough, so let's get on the brakes. We'll try and take a later entry and a tighter line. Oh, we've taken it too tight. We clipped the grass and we've got a slow down penalty as well, and a hefty one at that. Meanwhile, in all the excitement, Camino has indeed taken that second position. He pulled exactly the same pass as he did on me a lap ago. Right, my immediate priority has got to be to spend this slowdown penalty. I should be able to do it without too much damage, given how closely these two guys are in front. We've just about got rid of it. Oh, frustratingly, there's 100th of a second left on it. Just one more lift of the gas. That should do it. It has done. We're clear of it. And we haven't lost too much ground. We're 0.6 of a second behind Harmon. Yeah, here's a replay of Camino's pass, and it's a carbon copy, although it looks like Lars Hermann made it work a little bit harder for it than I did. Now, given how hard that Camino has pushed both me and Lars Hermann, I suspect that he might have that little bit of extra pace needed to make a break for it here, but I can't be too concerned about that now. My immediate target is Hermann and trying to get myself back into that podium position. I do feel like I'm carrying a bit more speed than Harmon down this straight, but we're certainly not close enough to consider a move up the inside into this upcoming right-hander. So the best we can do is get ourselves as close as we possibly can and then capitalise on some of that extra speed available down this long back straight. Pretty much every overtake we've seen in this race has occurred at the hairpin, so this is going to be our best opportunity to try and get past Lars Hermann here and regain that third position. But if we're going to do it, we need to do it a lot cleaner than my last attempt when I made a move up the inside of Camino. We ended up bumping into Camino, so I've got to try my very best not to do the same here. We're pretty much right alongside Harmon now. We're committed to the inside line, so we've got to be hard on the brakes. We've got to make that apex ours without drifting out into Harmon's line. We manage it. We're still side by side on exit. Who's got the greater power coming out of the corner? It looks like Harmon might just have a few extra miles per hour. He's got half a car length's advantage as well, but I'm going to try and hold this inside line. Can we go too wide through here? I get a little bit squeezed. We have to take to the grass. Herman's going to have the inside line, so we're just going to back out of this one. A later entry might give us a faster exit though, and we're certainly going to challenge Harmon now. We're right on his tail. We've never been closer. There was almost contact, and we really did have a much better exit out of that corner there, but sadly there was just no room to make the pass. But I'm feeling racy now. I am up for this one. We feign a move to the inside. I'm trying to spook Harmon now. The more pressure I can put him under, the more likely he is to make a mistake. Again, we feign a move to the inside. I'm trying to rattle him here, but so far it's not working. Hermann is holding his nerve, and this is turning into a cracking race here at Hockenheim. Meanwhile, Camino in second must be watching this battle unfold in his rearview mirror and rubbing his hands with glee. He is clearing off here. He's now 2 seconds down the road. Now, by this point in the race, we've passed 2/3 distance, and I've come to the conclusion that that hairpin is going to be the best opportunity for me to get around Lars Hermann. So I spent the first sector of this lap trying to get myself in the best possible position to strike. Here we go then, we're getting ready for Operation Overtake Hermann Part 2. The first one didn't work out, we just weren't quite fast enough out of the hairpin. We're going to pull exactly the same move again though. We're alongside, too wide as we approach the entry into this tight hairpin. We've got to try and hold a little bit of a tighter line this time and get on the gas a bit earlier. Oh no, we've clipped the grass again. Is that going to be another slowdown penalty? It is. Oh, that's frustrating because we're actually half a car length in front of Hermann at the moment. We've just about got the pass done. It's not quite as big a slowdown penalty as we got a couple of laps ago. So can we spend it without giving the position back? Hermann's got the inside, so it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. Hermann gets back in front. Well, I'm trying my absolute hardest to take this third position, but it's not paying off at the moment. Yeah, I knew I had to be just a little bit more committed to make this pass stick, but let's check the replay. How much of the grass did we clip? Yeah, all 4 tyres running onto the grass. Well, it looks like we're only going to get one more crack at this. This next lap is going to be the last lap because look at the clock. There's 2 minutes left. The leader has only just crossed the line. So there's definitely not time for another lap after this one. It's do or die now. Can we get this podium position? Well, first of all, we need to get a little bit closer to Lars Hermann. 0.5 of a second is a bit further back than I'd like at this stage. But once again, we're quicker through there and we're closing in. We're going to be really close by the time we get to the end of this straight. I'm going to feign a move to the inside again. Are we going to rattle Hermann at all? Yes, we are. He's running in a little bit hot. He's gone way wide. Surely that's going to give us the opportunity to get around him. Yes, it has. Hermann's rejoined, but he's 0.7 of a second back now. Oh, you've got to feel a bit sorry for Hermann. We've put him under so much pressure throughout the second half of this race, and he's held his nerve perfectly, but on the very last lap, the pressure got to him. He's made a big mistake there, and he's lost that third position. And even better for us is that he's too far back to consider making a move into the hairpin, so we're going to be safe through this one. Hermann comes steaming in behind. I just saw him in the rearview mirror there. He came in way too hot. He's run wide again, and that should seal our third place. Yeah, poor Lars. It was a fantastic battle with him throughout this race. I've really enjoyed it. But on the final lap, he makes one mistake. The first mistake I've seen him make, running it in too wide and allowing us to snatch that third position. He did all he could to try and close the gap into that hairpin, but he was never getting that car turned in. And his podium hopes are done. Yeah, fantastic race this one. I've really enjoyed it. Never done an NSU ranked race before, but I'll certainly be doing some more because this has been excellent. We're going to cross the line in third, our second successive podium since returning to RaceRoom. And as for poor old Lars Herman, his last lap went from bad to worse. He made this mistake later on in the lap, and that's also cost him fourth position. I don't really know what happened there. It sounds from the onboard like it might have just been a gear shift that caused him to lose control and slide into the wall. But yeah, poor Lars had to settle for fifth in the end. Well, I know these NSU cars are incredibly popular in RaceRoom, but I've got to admit, until now, I've never really fancied racing them, but I've been happy to be proved wrong here. They are surprisingly brilliant fun. So here are the classified results anyway. In a third place for me, I am happy with that, but a tinge of regret for making such a disastrous start. We had a pole position, a rare pole position, and we didn't make the most of it. But even though we had no choice but to dive into the rookie servers, it's still been a thoroughly enjoyable return to RaceRoom this week. And if you haven't yet seen my other podium in the BMW M235i Cup at Zandvoort, you can click the link on the screen now. Believe me, that one was an absolute cracker as well. But it's farewell from Hockenheim. I'll be back on the grid again very soon, and I'll look forward to seeing you all there. Cheers for watching.